Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how I made the pizza that I made for the boys, specifically the cheeseburger pizza that ended up being the crowd favorite. Here is the completed final version that is just oh so delicious. So make sure you stick around for this awesome recipe. So first things first, we're going to make the pizza crust. When I made this pizza for the boys, I used a sourdough pizza crust, but we're not going to do that today. And the reason is because most people probably don't have access to a sourdough starter, so we're just going to do a basic pizza crust. I did a real quick little Google search and came across Bobby Flay's pizza crust recipe. So that's what we're gonna use today. It's on foodnetwork.com. It's not mine. Please don't like come at me for plagiarizing or anything. Also, this is the first time that I'm doing this recipe. So we're gonna f it up together. So as you can see in the top down camera here, I've weighed out 420 grams of flour. And when I was weighing out the salt, I accidentally put one of the teaspoons in here and one of the teaspoons in here because Gabby forgot that she was making a video. And she just went ahead and started dumping shit in the bowl. So I'm gonna mix that one teaspoon in, but we're also gonna add the second teaspoon. Why is this all, okay. We're also gonna add the second teaspoon and whisk that all together. We are also going to add here a teaspoon of sugar. That is to feed the little yeasty boys. See what I did there? Not beastie boys, but yeasty boys. Anyway, and then we're gonna add in our packet of yeast. In the United States, the yeast comes pre-weighed out and measured out for recipes, and Chef Flay's recipe called for 1 packet. None of the ingredients in his recipe had weight measurements. It was all like cups and stuff, and I was very disappointed. You all know how I feel about weighing shit out, especially when it comes to baking. God damn it, let me get some scissors. Would have been easier if you would have just done this from the beginning, Gabby. Snip that open and dump it in there. So the biggest difference between this and doing like a sourdough pizza crust is your sourdough starter is basically just equal parts flour and water, and there's like natural yeast in that. And that's why you have to feed it, because you're feeding the little yeast. And they have to eat, just like we do. But sourdough overall is better for your digestion and stuff, and that's why I eat sourdough, because I mentioned in a previous video I have an autoimmune disease, and sourdough is just easier on my little tummy. And henceforth on my autoimmune disease as a whole. Although I still have to eat it in moderation, which stinks, because I love this shit. But the principles of making bread should be the same. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to get some water. I have to refer to the recipe. Okay, it says 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So just like really hot out of the tap. All right, we have 1.5 cups of hot water out of the tap. And to this water, I'm going to add the 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Slowly. We don't need any accidents. All right. And we're just gonna kind of give that a little stir. And now we're gonna pour this in. And I'm just gonna be kind of mixing with my hands as this goes in here. And we're gonna get all down and dirty. So the recipe calls for a stand mixer, but again, I have a hard time getting a good angle on the stand mixer. So we're gonna be kneading it by hand today, but also because I know a lot of you probably don't have stand mixers. So we're just gonna do everything manually, and that's fine. Right away, I'm noticing that this dough is coming out a little sticky icky. So my suspicion is we're gonna have to add more flour. The recipe did say 3.5 to 4 cups, which means 420 to 480 grams of flour. And I used 420. So I think, because this is very sticky, my God, it is not supposed to be mush. I'm gonna add another 60 grams of flour. We'll do 30 grams first and mix it together. And it really just depends on the humidity of your kitchen and your environment and what kind of flour you're using and how hard your water is and all the things. There are so many factors when it comes to baking. It's crazy. This is starting to resemble more like a dough and less like a ball of slop or mush. It is still very sticky though. We're gonna need that extra 30 grams. And it would help if I put my bowl on my scale and another 30 grams. Okay. There we are. Now it's coming together. Now we have a dough. Yes. Yes. The dough is doughing. Let's turn it out onto the counter where we're going to knead for like 10 to 15 minutes. Because why? Because you need to develop the gluten. It's not enough to just mix the ingredients together and form a dough. You have to work the dough to form the proteins to get you that nice, like chewy texture, that crispity crunch, you know? Not the crunch, the crunch is sort of. Okay, we're still gonna need more flour. What the heck? Okay, you see how this is getting sticky? It still needs more flour, and I have gone well above Chef Flay's recommendations. So this is why recipes are meant to be general guides. They are not meant to be taken so literally, because shit like this can happen where you end up needing way more flour than the recipe called for. See, that's like way too sticky. This is feeling like the gluten is developing. It's feeling tacky, but it is no longer sticking to my hand, which I believe means we have the correct ratio of flour to water or wet to dry. So now that this is done, we're gonna say we're done kneading. Because I think we've been at it a good amount of time. I forgot to check the clock before I started. Yay! But you know, just whatever feels good, I guess. Ta-da! It's a cute little ball. And now we will put it in a vessel and wait for it to rise. I believe my oven has a proof setting, so in the interest of time, that's what I'm gonna do. It should rise for about an hour. I forgot to mention that you're gonna need to oil the bowl that you're going to be letting your dough rise in. So I'll give it just a quick little splish splash and use a little pastry brush to kind of pull that up the sides of the bowl. And then we're gonna gather our dough and we're just gonna roll it around just a little bit. And this is gonna prevent it from like forming a hard film on the top. I've had that issue before. Once the hard film forms, there's no way of getting rid of it. And it sucks and it ruins your pizza dough. So use the oil, it's good. We've wrapped her in plastic wrap and now she's going in the proofing oven. Now that that is in the oven, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get out all the rest of our ingredients. So out of all three pizzas that I made for the boys, the consensus was that the best one was the cheeseburger pizza. So that's the one that we're gonna make today. Basically, you're just gonna get like all the ingredients that you would need for a cheeseburger, except instead of a bun, you're gonna have a pizza crust. So whatever you'd like on your cheeseburger. I got ground beef, obviously, like the essentials, right? Ground beef, cheddar, and bacon. If you don't like cheese or you don't, you know, whatever, make it your own. I've also got onion, tomato, pickles, and lettuce. Now, not all of these are gonna go in the oven. Like some of them we're gonna leave out until the end to finish off the pizza with. And then for the sauce, I'm gonna make my own sauce. It's like my own special sauce. It's basically just Thousand Island with a super secret, amazing ingredient, and that's Whataburger spicy ketchup because it's so good. If you don't have access to that though, which I think you can order it online for the most part everywhere, but if you can't for whatever reason, get you like a jalapeno ketchup, or I think what that is, yeah, it's a jalapeno ketchup. And then just like dump some black pepper in there and that'll kind of get you like your spicy ketchup. Those are basically the flavors. So yeah, we took the ground beef and bacon out now because I want those to come up to room temperature-ish before I put them on the pizza. I'm also going to cook them, but we will get there. All right, so the first things first is we are going to dice this lovely onion. At this point, you should also be preheating your oven with whatever cooking medium you're gonna be using. I have a pizza stone and I've preheated my oven to 500 degrees and then I'll turn it down later. But I've found that for the equipment that I use, that's just what cooks the best. So now I'm gonna show you the secret to getting a perfect dice on your onion every time. All right, you ready? Okay, dice. Come on, we talked about this. Dice. Bitch, you think I'm kidding? There we go. Works every time. Okay, now mince 2 tablespoons. Thank you. It's actually more like 1 tablespoon, but it's fine. We'll talk later. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop this onion up and set it aside in a bowl. That is set aside. And the first thing we're gonna do though is make the sauce. So that's why I've got a tablespoon of minced onions here. And honestly, that's like more than enough. We might not even use all that. We'll see. And I have some very special pickles here. These are donut operators pickles, which, yeah, these are homemade pickles and they look divine. I got these from him a while ago and I had so many pickles in my fridge to begin with that I'm just now getting around to these, but fortunately pickles keep for like ever. So we're gonna need a couple of pickles for the sauce and then however many pickles you want to put on your pizza. That looks good. And we're gonna take some of these. We're not going to abuse them like we did the onion. Sorry, onion. And yeah, we're just going to mince these as best as we can without cutting our fingers. Actually, I need to try one of these. That's good, man. I taste a bit of clove, a bit of allspice, dill. What else is in here? I don't know what the red things are. Are those pepper? Like chopped up bell pepper? I can't tell, probably. Anyway, it's f***ing delicious. Those are amazing, amazing pickles. I'm pleasantly surprised. All right, the rest of these, I'm just gonna like chop up into bigger pieces. They don't need to be as small as the other ones because we're not putting them in sauce. These are gonna be like sprinkled over the top. It's been 45 minutes since I put the dough in the proofing oven, so I'm gonna go check on it real quick. Okay, let me show you here. This is pretty good. We're gonna let it rise the extra 15 minutes, probably at room temperature because I don't want it to rise too quickly. My proofing oven was set to 100 degrees, which is pretty warm, but yeah, we're just gonna pull it out and let it continue rising at room temperature, and then we'll get to that step when we get to that step. So for this sauce, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the pickles and the onions in the bowl. I like having a chunky sauce. If you don't wanna have a chunky sauce, you can certainly use like pickle juice, which I'm gonna add a little bit of pickle juice anyway, and onion powder. I know some people just don't like chunky sauces, and that's fine. Then I'm gonna do about a teaspoon of grape poupon, because that is like the most fun thing to say. Poupon makes me think I'm saying poop on, which I am. And then we're gonna do, that's about 2 tablespoons of mayo. And then we're gonna do equal parts ketchup, spicy ketchup. We are also going to add paprika. Oh, a generous amount. I'd say half a teaspoon, not tablespoon. Oh my God, do not do a half a tablespoon of paprika. A little smidgen of pickle juice, just a touch. And then we'll taste for acidity later, and if it needs more, then we will add more. Let's mix this together. Kind of depends on the mood that I'm in too. Sometimes this needs salt and sometimes it doesn't. I think it depends on how salty the pickle juice that you use is, because some pickle juices are saltier than others. Sometimes you need a little bit more salt. Okay, I like the way that that looks. It is saucy, it is runny, and I finish the pizza with this sauce. I don't use this as the base because mayo breaks down under heat, so I drizzle the top of the pizza with this sauce, and it's really, really good. Fantastic, but needs a little bit more pickle juice. Kind of had a feeling it needs a little bit more acid. Oh, that might have been too much. We'll find out. Dude, it's perfect. It doesn't even need salt. That's so good. And you know what leveled that up? Was the goddamn pickles. So Donut, if you're watching this, you nailed it, dude. Those pickles are amazing. I love them. I wish that Eddie could taste this right now, guys. I'm gonna cry. But don't worry, we'll call him. Okay, so we've diced onions and pickles. We're also going to dice some tomato. This one I am going to put on the pizza like when we put it in the oven because I don't like raw tomatoes on my shit. This is why it's so important to have a sharp knife. It's because when you're dealing with slippery ass ingredients like this, it's so much easier to cut yourself if your knife is dull. Let me get a bowl. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna take 4 ounces of cheddar cheese and we're gonna shred it. I prefer to freshly shred my cheese because freshly shredded cheese is superior. It also doesn't contain like corn starch or whatever additives they use in pre-shredded cheese to keep it from congealing. Like if I'm gonna buy cheese, I just want the cheese. I don't want like all the other bullshit that might come with it, you know? And it really doesn't take that long to shred your own cheese, especially if you're not using a lot of it. You know, it'd be one thing if you're making mac and cheese, which I completely understand. It's like 10 bricks of cheese. It's gonna take a long time to shred your own cheese. But this only took like, what, 30 seconds? Our pizza dough is pretty much risen. It's like, it's right there. And we're right on the money at an hour. So good job, chef. All right, so ground beef. I got 93% lean ground beef just cause I didn't want like all the extra grease on my pizza. Oh yeah, I completely forgot. I'm also going to brown the onions with the beef. P.S. Make sure you season your beef with salt and a lot of pepper. I hope that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything else. All right, my beef is just browned and the onions are translucent. So that's good, that's ready to go. So now make sure that you've cleaned off some space to assemble your pizza. And that's the next thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab my pizza peel. If you don't have a pizza peel, you can use a cutting board. That's fine. And lay some parchment paper on there. So let's do that. She's at the end of her roll, so she's acting up. So I went and I grabbed some rice flour. You can use corn flour or even just like regular flour is fine also, but I'm just gonna sprinkle the parchment paper with this to help prevent it from sticking and to also kind of help create like a nice, you know, crispy bottom. It'll help absorb the excess moisture. There's our favorite word again, moisture. Okay, you see how beautiful that is? I'm gonna deflate that bitch. Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's so good. So here's what we're gonna do. You can use a rolling pin if you'd like, but I don't like to use rolling pins. I like to use my hands. I also think I was probably supposed to cut this in half and I didn't read the directions. So let me read the directions real quick. Yes, I was supposed to divide it in half. Oh my God. So since I already got rice flour on one half of the dough, or on both halves of the dough, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to form both pizza crusts and then I'm gonna par bake one and I'm gonna freeze it so that next time I can just like take it out of the freezer and put my toppings on and then pop it in the oven. For now, I'm just gonna set this one aside. We'll take care of it later. So I'm just gonna gather the part that was the edge kind of into the center for now. All right, and then resume where we left off. And that is to take our knuckles and just kind of like gently stretch it out until it starts becoming pizza shaped. And because I f***ed that part up, it's gonna be wonky, but that's fine. I am like okay with it being a strangely shaped pizza for, you know, the fact that I was being ignoramus and did not read all the directions and understand that I was making 2 pizza crusts and not 1. We're happy with that. We are pizza-ing and we are doing great. I know a lot of the time that people will like stab their pizza with a fork to kind of help release some of the bubbles, and I might do that like just in the center, but I will not do that around the crust because I like my crusts to be bubbly. All right, we have the dough and we're ready to top it. We are going to add les tomatoes. Remember, the sauce goes last, and I know some of you are probably like, but Gabby, what about the bacon? Don't worry, we will cook the bacon while the pizza is in the oven, because it really doesn't take long to cook bacon. And I'm just going to spoon as much ground beef as I would like across the pizza. I think I was also supposed to brush the pizza with olive oil, and did I do that? No. And then we're gonna top that off with le cheese. Yummy. And I'm just trying to like make sure that the cheese is evenly distributed as much as possible. Okay, now we have a topped pizza. At the end, we will do the pickles, the lettuce, and the sauce, and the bacon. Because bacon can go from like 0 to 1,000 real quick, so I like to add the bacon afterwards. All right, I am now going to turn my oven down to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake it for 10 to 12 minutes for a pizza this size. So yeah, wish me luck. Okay, so the pizza's cooking. While that happens, I'm going to open this package of bacon, and I'm going to cook, since this is really thick, I'm gonna cook 2 slices. And I think what I'll do is just like pre-chop it, let it cook that way. You can always cook them whole and then crumble them later. It's just whatever you want to do. So yeah, we'll get a little bacon bits for our pizza. Quick sidebar, also make sure to turn your pizza halfway through the cook to make sure that the crust is even all over. All right, the timer just went off. It's been 10 minutes. The crust is starting to turn golden brown pretty nicely, but I am gonna brush it with olive oil and finish it off for another 2 minutes, and then we'll pull it. All right, the timer just went off, so it's time to pull the pizza. Ooh-wee. Look at that bad boy. The crust is nice and golden brown. Got some nice bubbles going on in there. Hell yeah. That's gonna be a damn good pizza, if I do say so myself. We're just gonna let this cool for a couple of minutes before we finish it off with the rest of the toppings. I also missed the step, apparently, where it said to cover them with a kitchen towel or plastic wrap and let them rest for 10 minutes after you divide them in 2. So I probably would have gotten a much better rise on my pizza crust had I followed the directions, but because I didn't, it's a little flat in some spots. It's not a big deal though. I think it'll still come out good. I should also add that you're gonna wanna make sure that you cool it on a wire rack so that the bottom doesn't get soggy. But yeah, she's pretty much cooled down to be able to handle, and we're ready to finish it off. So first I'm going to take some bacon bits and sprinkle them around the pizza. And then we're gonna take the pickles and sprinkle those around. And then as far as the lettuce goes, if you know that you're gonna eat the pizza like all at the same time in one sitting, go ahead and top the whole thing off with lettuce. However, like, because I'm the only one eating this tonight and I know I'm only gonna eat a few slices, I'm gonna do the lettuce last and only on the pieces that I'm gonna eat, because soggy lettuce makes me wanna throw up. Same with the sauce, actually. I would save the sauce. Okay, so now I'm going to transfer it to a cutting board. Now I'm going to get my pizza cutter and I'm gonna slice it up. All right, so the pizza is sliced. I'm gonna grab these 2 slices. I'm gonna top them off with some shredded lettuce and then drizzle it with sauce. And that, my friends, is how I made the cheeseburger pizza that I made for the boys. Okay, I gotta call Eddie and I gotta tell him about this. I hope he answers.
Oh wait, Gabby's calling me.
Uh-oh.
Can I answer real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Please answer. There you are.
Yo, what's up? I got the boys with me, look.
Ah! Look what I made.
Oh!
Is that a cheeseburger pizza?
It's a cheeseburger pizza, Molly.
A Big Mac pizza? Almost.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you ship some over to Australia real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be right on that.
Wait. Taste it. I want to hear the crunch.
Okay.
Man, my mouth is watering.
I'm eating vodka right now.
Eating vodka?
Yeah.
How does one eat vodka? All right.
Like that. You can go.
Dude, it tastes bomb.
Dude, that looks insane.
Hey, Yeah, I tasted it. My mouth watered, man. The back of my throat just kind of like squeezed.
Salivate.
Yo, look at this bottle of.
None of us are beating the autism allegations, bro.
And he's on the phone with his wife. Just look at this bottle of.
That's awesome.
Happy for you that it turned out well. I wish I was there to taste it.
Thanks. I do too. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Aw. Cute.
Specifically, I miss you for my videos because now I'm not gonna get as many views.
Oh, wait. Are you not recording right now?
I am recording.
Oh, well, then there you go. You got the views. Well, enjoy it.
Thanks. I'll let you guys get back to your video.
Bye, Gabby.
Bye bye, everybody.
Pizza. Muchachos, if you haven't subscribed to Eddie VR.
Oh my God.
Because I need the subscribers.
I just hung up on his ass.
Got him.
Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment. Let me know if you try out the pizza and how it goes for you. And please follow the crust directions better than I did. That's it. Okay, bye.